Mike here. We're gonna check out this little folding bike. It is an electric bike. This is the iGogo something Alps bike. I'll have a link up above, non-affiliated link by the way. And it's basically a folding bike that has 16-inch wheels. But if you can tell, if you are a Brompton owner, you'll notice that it's a little bit more beefy because the wheels are definitely more beefy. And it's got this electric motor here, just 350 watts nominal, and it's got disc brakes, which is something that you can't get on the Brompton without some major modifications, at least at this point in time. To turn the unit on and off, it's just a matter of just pressing this button right over here. And as you can see, it has a whole basic display. For whatever reason, I couldn't get it to stick to miles per hour, but that's something that I probably just need to review on the user manual. But this is a nice little thumb throttle. It's actually very responsive. And having it front wheel drive is not too bad because it helps to balance out the built-in internal gearing here, which has an Sturmey Archer, very similar to the way a Brompton has. It has a 3 gear ratio, and I find that it's just barely sufficient to reach speeds of basically 18 miles per hour without pedaling a little bit like crazy. But it's nice that it's all integrated, so we don't have to deal with a separate derailleur. So it's a very similar setup to what a Brompton has. Nothing special about the Go folding pedals. The rest of the componentry, there's nothing particularly special about that either, but that helps to keep the cost low. And frankly, most people aren't really going to be too concerned about the componentry with a bike of this price range, which runs currently right now at roughly around $1,300, and that's shipped here within the United States. Now, there are some other people talking about drum brakes on the back, but this is actually the most up-to-date one for 2023, and for that, it's all disc brakes. There's no drum brakes. So it's a little bit different. I will say in terms of bicycling speed, this is actually slower if you don't have the motor on, and it's probably because of the beefy wheels, or it could also be a mix of the beefy wheels, which provides a much cushier ride, but also a combination of a little bit of motor drag in the front. You can see there's a little bit. I guess it's probably mostly the beefy wheels, but you can most likely swap those out with your own. One thing I really do like is the fact that I could just fold it like this, and then as such it'll just roll. No problems. So very capable on the gravel because the wheels are definitely beefier. And I feel like the riding position is actually more comfortable for me than on my Brompton, but that will vary depending on your handlebars and what setting that you have on here. This is fully adjustable for a lot of different heights. I know my wife was able to ride it and she really enjoyed the fact that it can be classified as a class 2 because you can run it purely off of the throttle. As far as accessories, they basically just give you one of these lights up here, which is a nice little addition. Most bikes that you purchased from elsewhere, they don't even bother to give you lights. They include a set of reflectors, which I chose not to install because I have my own reflective ideas that I might do on this. The grips are nothing special, but these are also easily swappable. Nothing too major about that. You can see we have all these cables. This is a nest of cables that's very common in folding bikes because most of them are not internally routed. But, you know, good news is they don't get away, and they do have to stick out like that because of the way the bike folds. Now, like the Brompton, there is a little bit of suspension here, and this is very common in terms of these types of folding bikes things, and perhaps you can change this to some other third party. I haven't really looked far into that. But these wheels you can change as well. They roll really well, but you know, they only go, you know, one direction, and you can get some that do omnidirection. This has a max 7 kilograms of weight limit on here, and because you see these right here, they have little attachment points. You could potentially use another rack if you feel like you want to. One other thing I forgot to mention is this is definitely more adjustable for different heights of riders because this is actually telescoping. This is a quick release. You can remove this and this can then move up and down. So if you want a more relaxed riding style, you can. If you want a little bit more aggressive, well, this is set as the default, and I actually find it to be quite comfortable coming from a Brompton H-style handlebar set. So while I do think you get a lot for your money, what you do lose out on is a little bit of portability. So this, I have the dimensions of what it claims to be able to fold as small as, and we'll take a quick look at how that works out. And I will show you here. I will fold this up here, unscrew this, and get this all the way out here. Locks in place there. And obviously, if you telescope the steering column, you will need to put a little bit more effort into that. Just goes in like so. And you can fold the pedals in. Let's see if we do hit the 13. It claims a 13-inch width, but I don't believe it because, yeah, not to me it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to put this all the way through and let's see what the real dimensions are. For me, the real dimensions are actually 16.5 inches. So frankly, I don't know how they got to the part where it says it folds to 13. 13 is like this, and this is the size of 16. It's more 16. So they're a whole 3 inches off. That is, I feel like that's unacceptable, and I can't see how this can fold any smaller than this. It definitely is not 13. So I feel like this is potentially false advertising, and maybe it's because this new model has disc brakes. It's actually 16 and a quarter or to 16 and a half. Let me see, 16. Okay, it's actually 16 inches. So that's actually significantly more. So that's 13, 16 versus 13. That's dimensionally quite a lot bigger. And the way that I would fold it with this piece on here, let's see what the height is in real dimensions. And that's by 26 and a half. 16 by 26 and a half by 29. By 29. That's definitely not even close to as being compact as the Brompton does with a similar folding setup. Okay, so with that in mind, who is this bike for? I think this is a really great alternative to a Brompton, and it folds pretty darn small. It's actually very comfortable to ride, and it's just a great general purpose bike just for anybody that doesn't want to break the bank, yet ends up being lighter than the competition, a little bit faster than the competition, and also much cheaper than the competition. But you do have to give up a little bit of lower end componentry, and also it just doesn't fold as small, but it will easily fit in the back of most trunks or boots, depending on whatever country you're from.
Now, my wife was the one that was mostly doing most of the riding on this bike. She did at least a good 12, 13 miles on it the other day, and I just want to share some of her feedback. Number one, what stood out most to her was that because she got used to a full-size electric bike, the 2.2, the REI Co-op City 2.2, she felt that the handlebars were squirrely. I didn't feel that to be the case because I ride a Brompton. So just so you know, these half and smaller size folding bikes, the steering does feel a little bit more squirrely compared to a full-size bike. So full-size bike is going to feel more stable. The other thing she said was that she couldn't really tell a difference otherwise on the other things. And she really liked the throttle part, I can tell you that much. That makes it class 2. I personally feel that if I didn't already have the Brompton and do the whole switch kit, you can see a link to that video down below, I would have been okay with this just for around town and to keep the bike in the back. But unfortunately, I did go the Brompton route, and my Brompton does fold a lot smaller, but it is absolutely horrible on the gravel and outdoor stuff. which is unfortunately a part of what I like to do out here in the Bay Area. So I'll have another bike for that, but it won't be this Alps version, at least for now. What that means is, for now, I am just going to stick with my Brompton, at least for as far as a folding bike. And the search is still on for something that is going to be comfortable enough with potentially a more fuller size geometry for my wife that we can also fold. So it's going to be bigger than this, bigger than a Brompton, and unfortunately probably more expensive than this. So we'll see. We'll see what I come up with. But for now, that's it for this first impressions video. This is, of course, a really short-term test of this bike because it is going right back and being returned as we speak. UPS has just picked it up. Okay, that's it for this video. Please give it a like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you next one. Let me know if you have any questions about this. I'd be happy to share more information about this bike as much as I can, given the limited experience that I had with it. Thank you very much for watching.